Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be making the Radini set, and I'm going to be using this yarn. It's a sort of brown beige yarn. So the brand you're going to be using is the Winter King. It's 100% acrylic, and it's also a 4-ply yarn. So to get started, you're going to be using a 3mm hook, although you can use any hook size that you have, but be sure to know that the bigger the hook size, the faster you're going to finish, but also the spacing will be larger with a larger hook compared to a smaller hook. So I'm just going to start by making my slip stitch. Then I'm gonna go ahead and make my chains. So because this is a demonstration, I'm only going to be making 20 chains, but for you who is following along, what you want to do is you want to make as many chains as it would take for however long the skirt you want the skirt to be. So if you want it to get to your thighs, make chains that are gonna be able to measure from your waist to your thighs. If you want to get it to your knees or below your knees, you just want to make that much number of chains. So the chains should be equal to the length of a skirt you'd like to make. So I've just made my 20 chains. You can continue and make it for however long you'd like the skirt to be. So you can pause and continue. So once you're done, you can chain one. Then you want to walk into the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, then pull through, then since it's a half double crochet, you're gonna pull through all three. Okay, so you're gonna yarn and then go through the chain, pull, and then pull through all three. So we're gonna be using a half double crochet for this set. Yarn over, get into the chain, pull, yarn over, pull through all three. So I'm just gonna be doing this across through all my chains. I'm not gonna be skipping or making any double, half double crochets into any stitch. You're just gonna make one half double crochet into each chain. Okay, so once you get to the end, I just wanted to see that for the half double crochet there's like two sets of V-stitch, and you want to work one and then two. So you want to work in the back loop so that you can get this ribbed effect. So this is the skirt that I finished, and you can see how it stretches because of the working the back loop, and it's such a beautiful pattern. So that's why I chose it for this skirt. So one other thing is you have to make sure you work into the last stitch. It's so hard to miss it, especially if you're using a small hook and yarn, so be sure to do that. So chain one, turn your work into the first stitch, don't skip any stitch. So this will give you a straight edge and you're working the back loop only. You can see there I'm demonstrating the back loop. Okay, you're gonna work the half double crochet into the first stitch, and then continue working half double crochets all through. And I'm sorry guys if sometimes you see me veering off the camera. It's the first time I'm recording, so I'm gonna be careful next time to make sure that that doesn't happen. So please bear with me for this particular video. So work your half double crochets all through in each stitch. Don't skip a stitch, just continue each half double crochet, one stitch, one double crochet, one half double crochet, sorry. So this is how it looks midway through the second row. Just gonna continue working my half double crochets. Okay, so we're close to the end and I'm left with 2 stitches, so I'm gonna work half double crochet in each. So I left this part so that I can show you guys how it's so easy to miss out on the last stitch because it's barely, you can barely see it, but you have to make sure you can either count it or just make sure where you see the V stitch, you're able to work your half double crochet. So this is how it looks like after the 3rd row. I'm gonna chain 1 and turn my work, then work a half double crochet in the 1st stitch and continue working half double crochets along my stitches.
Reminds me of a story.
So I'm just getting more yarn. So I'm left with 2 stitches. I'm gonna work my last 2 half double crochets into the stitches. Again, be careful not to miss that last stitch so that you get a straight edge. And this is how it looks, and you can already see there's that ribbing effect that's starting to come into play. So I'm gonna work a half double crochet into the 1st stitch, so we're just gonna do the same thing, work half double crochets into each stitch. Make sure you don't miss out on the last stitch, and then when you get to the end, chain 1, turn your work, so after that you get the last stitch, this is how it looks with the ribbing effect. Okay, so this is the top, the finished top. This is what we've been working on, the body of the top. So yeah, so the top has two bands on the top and the bottom. So now we're going to start working on the band. So that's the band over there. So mine is 9 chains thick, but depending on what hook size and what how thick your thread of yarn is, it's gonna determine how many chains you'll make. So I'm gonna make a slip stitch and start working the chains for my band. So I did 7, but depending on how thick or how thin you want your band to be, you can decide the number of chains you want to use. I'm gonna be working single crochets into the chains. So for the bands, we're gonna be using single crochets. So in each stitch, work 1 single crochet. So this is, I'm just counting to make sure I have the correct number of stitches and I haven't done more or less than that. So we're gonna work again in the back loop of the stitch or the V-stitch. So again, you're only working with single crochets. Sorry guys, working on camera is get a bit difficult, so yeah. So work your single crochets across. You get to the last stitch, work 1 single crochet and then chain and then turn your work and continue working single crochets into the back loop. So working the back loop, for those who don't know, just helps to give your project a stretchy feel. So one thing I forgot to mention is for both the body of the set and the bands, so after, however wide you want it to be, you have to stretch it like across your body. For example, if it's for the skirt, after you make your half double crochets, you want to stretch it to see if it goes around your hips, which should be the widest area on the lower part of your body. So if it can go around your hips, then you're good to go. For the band, you have to make sure that without stretching, it can go across around your waist. This is because for the band, it needs to go either over your shoulder or over your hips, depending on how you wear your skirts. So if you're gonna without stretching it, just make sure it can go around your waist. But for the skirt, you have to stretch it and ensure that it can go around your hips so that it's nice and it fits your body perfectly. So I'm gonna do as many rows across as the width of my demonstration is for the band, so that I can attach it. So you can see this is the top, that's the band. So I want to do for the band, I did a 3:2 ratio for the upper part. and I'm going to explain what I did for the bands of the top. So for the top specifically, what I did was you're going to take the number of, you're going to count the number of half double crochets that you have. Then when you get the number of half double crochets, you're going to multiply it by 3, you can see here, and then divide by 2. So for example, if you did 50 rows of half double crochets for the body of the top, then you're gonna do 50 and then multiply by 3, it's going to give you 150, then divide by 2, and then it's going to give you 75 rows. Then that's the number of rows of single crochets that you're going to do for the band. Then you can join them. So this is just how I join the band to the body. So I'm joining.
Reminds me of a story.
Okay, so for the top, what you want to do is you're gonna join 2 rows of the band into 1 row of the body. For example, 2 rows of single crochet into 1 row of half double crochet, and then 1 row of single crochet into 1 row of half double crochet, and then again 2 rows of single crochet into 1 row of half double crochet, 1 row of single crochet into 1 row of half double crochet. Sorry about that. So it's gonna be like 2, you're gonna alternate like that. 2 goes into 1, 1 goes into 1, 2 go into 1, 1 go into 1, 2 go into 1, 1 go into 1. Join the ends of your project together so that you can finish up the project. So this is what my demonstration looks like so far, and I'm just going to join
Reminds me of a story.
the ends, both sides of the project now together. Remember, if you're doing a band, you're gonna put if you're doing the top, you're gonna put 2 bands at the top and at the bottom. For the skirt is only 1 band, and I'm going to explain what I did for the skirt a bit later. So I'm just going to be joining using a single crochet. Again, sorry for veering off camera. adjacent to the stitches that are adjacent, you just join them together. Hopefully you're supposed to end up with the same number of stitches that you had in the first row. They should be equal to the number of stitches that you have in the last row, since you're working across. So joining them, you should just join them. Each stitch goes to the adjacent stitch that is just like right next to it. For the skirt, the band, I did it in a different way as compared to the top, because when I did the more rows for the band for the skirt, it ended up being too big for my waist. So what I did was I did an equal number of rows of single crochets for the band as the same as the body of the band. So the number of rows of single crochet were equal to the number of rows of half double crochet when it came to the skirt. So joining them was pretty easy, because now you only need to join for each row of single crochet, you join it to one row of half double crochet. So it's just a 1-to-1. Each row, one row goes with another row. So that was what I did for the skirt. So depending on you, you can either use the same method for the top to make the waistband for the skirt, or you can do it like me. If you have a smaller waist, you can make the rows equal to those of the rows of single crochet equal to the rows of half double crochet. So this is just how I joined, and this is how it looks.